Hello everyone. Before we dive into the video, I just wanted to let you know that due to my tight schedule, a few days from my Switzerland trip, couldn't make it to a vlog earlier. But today, finally, I'll be taking you along to two places that completely stole my heart: Lauterbrunnen and Bern. We started a day in Lauterbrunnen, the stunning Swiss valley, the valley of 72 waterfalls, many of which cascade dramatically from hundreds of meters above. This village feels like it's been lifted straight out of a fairy tale. Nestled deeply within a valley, surrounded by towering cliffs, everywhere you look, there's another postcard worthy view. Snow capped peaks in the distance, lush green meadows, charming wooden chalets, and the soothing sound of rushing water. What makes this place so special isn't just its beauty, it's the sense of peace. Life moves at a slow pace here. The fresh air, ringing of cowbells echoing through the valley, and the breathtaking scenery make it one of those places where you simply want to pause, breathe, and appreciate nature. Every corner feels magical, and every step offers another unforgettable view. It's no surprise that Lauterbrunnen inspired many writers and artists. After spending the morning breathing in this crisp mountain air, we left to trade the Alps for cobblestones. The best part about traveling in Switzerland is that the transit is part of the vacation. We took a smooth scenic train ride from the mountains straight into the historic capital city of Bern. It takes just about an hour and 20 minutes. One of the things that makes traveling by train in Switzerland so enjoyable is how seamless it is. The trains are remarkably punctual, incredibly clean, and designed with large panoramic windows, making it easy to sit back, relax, and admire the scenery. The train gently pulled away from the valley. Soon the landscape transformed into rolling green meadows, charming wooden houses, and picturesque villages scattered across the countryside. The route takes you through the heart of the Bernese Oberland, where every few minutes the view outside the window looks like a living postcard. And here we are in Bern, where every street feels like a walk through the history. Unlike many capital cities that are known for their towering skyscrapers and fast paced life, Bern has chosen to preserve its timeless charm. Here, let me give you a pro travel tip for Switzerland. You don't need to spend money on bottled water. Bern has over 100 public fountains, and the water flowing from them is 100% clean, crisp, and safe to drink. Local authorities strictly monitor the quality, sanitizing it with UV light rather than heavy chemicals, so you can fill up your bottle straight from the spout for free. Another fascinating fact is that Albert Einstein lived in Bern while working at the Swiss Patent Office. It was here in 1905 that he developed ideas that transformed modern physics, earning that year the title of his famous miracle year. One thing that made our visit to Bern even more special was that we happened to be here on July 1, when the Swiss Parliament building opened its door to the public for free. It was a unique opportunity to walk inside one of Switzerland's most important political landmarks. Seeing the grand halls, historic architecture, and the place where national decisions are made was a fascinating experience. What stood out for me wasn't just the beauty of the building, but what this gesture represents. Opening Parliament for everyone reflects Switzerland's tradition of transparency, civic participation, and bringing people closer to the democratic institutions. As you stroll through the cobblestone streets, you'll notice beautifully preserved sandstone buildings, colorful fountains, and medieval arcades that stretch for nearly 6 kilometers, one of the largest shopping promenades in Europe. Rain or shine, you can explore the city comfortably under these historic walkways. The city's old town is so well preserved that it's been recognized as UNESCO World Heritage Site. While exploring the beautiful streets of Bern, it was time for a little sweet treat. And what better than freshly made waffle from a local sweet vendor? The aroma of warm batter and caramelized sugar filled the air as the waffle was prepared right in front of us. Crispy on the outside, soft from the inside, every bite was a perfect balance of warmth and sweetness. Now, let me show you something cool that you see not above the ground but beneath it. Hidden under many of city's historic buildings are centuries-old underground cellars. These stone walls were originally built as storage spaces for wine, food and supplies, helping merchants preserve their goods. Today, these have been transformed into cafes, restaurants, boutique shops, art galleries, blending history with modern life. Next up, we made it to the zytglogge, Bern's famous medieval clock tower. This clock has been ticking here for over 800 years. It's a few minutes to the hour. As the hour approached, something interesting started happening. People slowly gathered in front of the clock tower, each finding the perfect spot. Within minutes, dozens of phones were raised in the air, cameras ready, all waiting for the clock's famous mechanical performance. Tourists from around the world stood shoulder to shoulder, eagerly counting down the final seconds. Then, just before the hour struck, the centuries old figures came to life. The rooster crowed, the jesters and bears began to move, and the clock's mechanical display unfolded exactly as it has for hundreds of years. We then continued our journey towards city's another famous landmark, the Bear Park. We began by strolling Bern's picturesque streets, while the city's iconic red trams glided past us effortlessly. Rows of beautiful flags hung gracefully on both sides of the streets. Many of the flags represented Swiss Confederation, the Canton of Bern, and the city's iconic bear emblem, while others reflected local traditions and historic symbols. Swaying gently to the breeze, the colorful banners added a festive charm to the city's already stunning medieval architecture. Looking up, it almost felt like walking through an open-air gallery. Soon we hopped aboard one of the trams, one of the easiest and most enjoyable ways to get around the city. The ride was smooth, quiet, and perfectly on time, offering glimpses of everyday life in Switzerland as we passed elegant buildings and locals going about their day. Before long, we crossed the beautiful Nidec Bridge, where breathtaking views of the turquoise Aar River and Bern's medieval skyline unfolded before us. We got down the tram and walked toward the old river market area to visit the Bern's famous residents, the bears. To truly understand why this place exists, we have to look back at Bern's wild history. Bears have been the living civic symbol of Bern for over 500 years. According to a local legend, when Duke Berchtold V founded the city in 1191, he vowed to name it after the very first animal he hunted in the surrounding oak forests. That animal was a bear, Bar in German, giving the capital city its name and its coat of arms. Originally, the city's captive mascot bears weren't kept down here by the river. Starting in 1513, they were kept right in the middle of the city's busy market areas at what is still called Platz or Bear Plaza. Back then, keeping bears in deep dark moats along the city walls was a display of sheer medieval power, a living trophy showing humanity's dominance over nature. But as time passed, people began questioning whether keeping bears in concrete pits was humane. Even after renovations in the 1990s, concerns about animal welfare continued to grow. This led to a huge change. In 2009, Bern officially opened the new bear park along the banks of the beautiful R River. Rather than living in a small concrete pit, the bears now have thousands of square meters of grassy slopes, trees, rocks, bushes, and even access to the river. One thoughtful feature of the new bear park is that it still preserves the city's history. The original bear pit wasn't demolished, instead, it became part of the expanded park, serving as a reminder of Bern's long tradition while connecting it to a more modern approach to animal care. From the original pit, the bears can walk through a connecting passage into the much larger enclosure built on the hillside. Today, visitors can watch the bears from walking paths and viewing platforms overlooking the enclosure. Instead of simply looking down into a pit, people can see the bears roaming across a landscape that resembles their natural habitat. Here we are taking the lift down toward the R River, where you can really appreciate the full scale of Bern's modern bear park. From the top, you mostly see the historic bear pit, but as you descend, you'll discover that the enclosure stretches far beyond it. The habitat follows the natural hillside all the way down to the river, giving the bears plenty of space to roam, climb, and even cool off in the water. Taking the lift is one of the best ways to experience the park because it gives you a completely different perspective and brings you closer to the beautiful riverside setting. After spending some time down by the R River, it was time to head back up. Instead of climbing the hill, I took the lift, which made the journey effortless. Walking through the square, I noticed two people completely immersed in the music. They danced together as if the rest of the world had disappeared for a moment. It was one of those simple, spontaneous scenes that reminds you how public spaces can bring people together. Next, we hopped on a bus heading to the Rosengarten. The short ride took me through the charming streets of Bern, passing historic buildings and quiet neighborhoods. Rosengarten is known for its beautiful rose gardens and its breathtaking panoramic view over Bern's medieval old town. The winding R River and the surrounding hills, it was the perfect next stop to continue exploring this beautiful city. Sometimes the journey between places is just as enjoyable as the destination itself. Sitting by the window, I watched Bern slowly pass by. The streets, the old buildings, the greenery, and the everyday life of the city unfolding outside. Along the way, people came and went at different stops. Some passengers stepped onto the bus carrying bags, heading home or continuing their day, while others got off to reach their next destination. It was a small glimpse into the daily rhythm of life in Bern. Everyone was on their own journey, and for a few moments, we were all sharing the same ride through the city. The bus ride wasn't just a way to get to the Rosengarten, it was a small experience of everyday Bern. Here we were at a destination, and as soon as I entered, I could feel a sense of calm away from the busy streets of the city. The garden is filled with hundreds of varieties of roses and colorful flowers, creating a peaceful and beautiful atmosphere. Walking along the paths, I took my time exploring the different sections of the garden, enjoying the carefully maintained plants, the greenery, and the quiet corners where people come to relax. But the real highlight of Rosengarten is this incredible view. From here, you can look across Bern's historic old town with its medieval rooftops, the famous zytglogge clock tower, the R River winding around the city, and the hills stretching into the distance. It's a place where you can truly appreciate how beautifully Bern's history and nature exist together. What I love most about traveling is it changes the way we see the world. We don't just discover new streets, buildings, or landmarks, we experience different ways of life, different rhythms, and different perspectives. A short bus ride, a walk through a market, or a quiet view from a garden can become meaningful memories because they show us how people live and interact in another part of the world. Capturing these random scenes reminds us that every city has its own story. Behind every building, every door, are countless lives happening at the same time. When we slow down and observe, we begin to see a place beyond what is written in guidebooks. So, exploring a new place is not about where we go, it's about how we see. Every time I travel, it reminds me that the world is much bigger, more diverse, and more beautiful than I often imagine. So, we've come to the end of a trip to Switzerland. Thank you for joining me on this journey and exploring Switzerland with me. I hope these moments have inspired you to travel, discover new places, and see the world with a little more curiosity. Until the next adventure, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next journey. Take care.